Hey everyone, this is Ryan at RunBiz. Welcome to Web Tip Wednesday. It's no secret that 2020 was a wild year for cybersecurity. Many companies were forced to move to remote working situations abruptly, and navigating the threats that presented was not an easy task. One of the most basic and core components of a solid cybersecurity strategy is having a good password policy. This applies to every industry and every size of organization, but especially to small to medium-sized businesses who have a giant target on their back. SMBs can be a particularly attractive victim to cybercriminals because they typically have less resources that are dedicated to security. Today, we'll remind you about 3 key components to include in any strong password. But first, I want to touch on an authentication trend that we're seeing as we move further into 2021. There's some talk about Microsoft aiming to eliminate passwords altogether in 2021. And according to the following statistics on Microsoft's blog about this subject, they have some good reasons for their bold ambition. On average, 1 in 250 corporate accounts are compromised each month. Roughly 4 out of 5 cyber attacks are aimed directly at passwords. And the Gartner Group research shows that 20 to 50% of all help desk calls are for password resets. That's something we definitely know something about. So it's easy to conclude that passwords are in fact a major threat, not to mention a hassle. Microsoft has actually made some very big strides in reaching this goal, with hundreds of millions of users already using their passwordless technology that authenticates with biometric information from fingerprints or facial ID scanning. And this is a lot like what we've already been doing for a long time with our iPhones. The thought of moving to a passwordless reality is exciting to many of us, but while most of us are still using these things every day, let's make sure they're as effective as possible. So here are 3 components for forming a strong password. First, we want to look at length. We recommend that your password be at least 10 characters long, and this should be comprised of upper and lowercase letters, as well as special characters. An easy way to generate long passwords that are memorable is using phrases like humble, hungry, and smart, or song lyrics like Here Comes the Sun. Second, never include personal information in your password. This means avoiding things like birthdays, middle names, your kids' names, definitely not your name. And third, we want to avoid repetitive characters like RRRR, or sequential numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that you have a good idea of how to create a password, you need to be sure to protect it by using some of the following best practices. Always turn on multi-factor authentication for login. Second, don't hand out your password, not even to a trusted family member or computer support staff. RunBiz is never going to ask you for your password. We'll always have you type it in yourself. Next, we want to use a different password for each online account. That way, if one password is compromised, your other accounts are not at risk. It's especially important that you refrain from using your work password for personal services or personal logins like social media. My final tip on protecting your password is going to be using a password manager. Now, this is something that really covers everything we've already talked about today. It allows you to create these ridiculously strong, unique, lengthy passwords for all of your separate accounts without having to struggle to remember them or write them down somewhere. And there's a couple of programs out there that actually have free versions available, and those are linked in the description below. That's it for this week. I hope this was helpful. For more web tips, you can visit us online at run.biz and head to the RunBizU section. If you found this content helpful, please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for notifications anytime new web tips come out. Thanks for watching and have a great week.